Hello friends, today we'll discuss about two cameras, Sony a6500 and Canon 80D. We'll discuss about 16 major differences and 11 alternative cameras. Number 1. The key features. Sony a6500 featured with 24 megapixel sensor, 5-axis sensor stabilization, 11 fps, 4K plus Full HD and 425 PDAF points and 0.05 second autofocus speed, whereas Canon 80D with 24 megapixel Full HD 60p, touch to focus video, 45 CTF points and 7 fps speed. Number 2. The price. Sony a6500 retail price of body is $1400 USD, 93,500 INR, whereas Canon 80D 1099 USD, roughly 75,000 rupees. Number 3. Sony a6500 on 6th October 2016, Canon 80D on 18th February 2016. If we check the timeline, since 2010, then Canon 60D, then 70D, then this year Canon 80D, and Sony NEX7, NEX6, a6000, then this year a6300, and latest on October a6500. Number 4. The previous models. Sony a6300 was the previous model of Sony a6500 and Canon 70D is the previous model of Canon 80D. And the major additions in the new model is sensor sheet image stabilization in case of Sony a6500 and in case of 80D, 24 megapixel and enhanced ISO with additional focus points. Number 5. The sensor. Sony a6500 15.6 mm into 23.5 mm, whereas Canon 80D bit smaller. Crop factor is 1.5 in case of Sony and in case of Canon it is 1.6. Both Canon and Sony are CMOS sensors. Number 6. Autofocus. Sony a6500 here has a world record with its autofocus response time of 0.05 second. Canon 80D has got only 45 points. Number 7. Lenses. Sony is better in autofocus but Canon is better in lenses with its 266 compatible lenses for Canon 80D, whereas Sony has only 58. Number 8. Photography. If we check photography features in both the cameras, then Sony has a little disadvantage with its poor battery life, but rest of the areas it does really well, better than Canon 80D. And shutter life of Sony a6500 is 2 lakhs and Canon 80D has 1 lakh. Number 9. Videography. Sony a6500 has got 4K feature with Full HD 120 frames and Canon 80D doesn't have 4K and with Full HD up to 60 frames only. Number 10. Dimension. Sony a6500 is a mirrorless body. The weight and size is much lesser than Canon 80D. Number 11. The very important DxO score. Canon 80D has got an overall DxO score of 79. The DxO score of Sony a6300 is 85. The DxO score of Sony a6500 is awaited as of December 2016. Number 12. Overall scores. The scores are indicative only, considering several factors. Number 13. Buying factor. Consider Sony a6500 for 4K video, 425 focus points, 11 fps, lightweight and 2 lakh cycles shutter life. Canon 80D has got better shutter speed, better battery life, better lenses and cheaper price. Number 14. Upgrades. Sony a6500 released recently in the month of October 2016 only, and Canon 80D may be upgraded in 2018. Number 15. Weak points. The common weak point is APS-C sensor. Both the sensors are smaller than full frame sensors. Sony a6500 has got very low battery life and Canon 80D doesn't have 4K video. Number 16. Popularity. Here are the figures and here are the charts. A6500 is newly launched. Just to add, a6300 was more popular than 80D. Here are the alternative options if not Sony a6500 and Canon 80D. APS-C sensor with 4K video, Sony a6300 or Nikon D500 or Fuji X-T2. If you are considering entry-level full-frame cameras within $2,000, options are Pentax K1 or Nikon D750 or Canon 6D. Here are some APS-C bodies as popular as Sony a6500 or Canon 80D. They are Canon 70 Mark II, flagship of Canon APS-C, then Nikon D7200 and Sony a77 Mark II. And two more bodies I thought to add, APS-C cameras with high megapixel. They are Sigma Quattro and Samsung NX1. So here are my final views on both the cameras. Sony a6500 is flagship of Sony APS-C mirrorless series, and Canon 80D is not the flagship. However, 70 Mark II is there, but neither of the cameras have 4K features. And Sony a6500 has got panorama feature, Canon 80D doesn't have it. Canon 80D has time-lapse video feature, Sony doesn't have it. And it has got 266 lenses. If we compare image stabilization, then 89 lenses versus the Sony 58 lenses with in-body image stabilization. So Canon has to upgrade 80D or 70 Mark II very soon. Let's hope for the best. Here is the design of Sony 5-axis in-body image stabilization, in-body sensor stabilization. Well, I'll consider Canon 80D for Canon's 266 lenses, and Canon 80D has also got a headphone port which is really good for movie making. But between Sony a6500 and Canon 80D, Sony a6500 as a body is a clear winner.